What up, YouTube? T Movies here. With, of course, everything going on in the world now with race relations and so much like racism in the world, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite race relation movies because there are some pretty decent ones, but a lot of these movies that's literally in my list, it's kind of hard to really watch them more than once. I mean, and there's some pretty decent ones in my opinion. So, with that being said, here are my top 10 favorite race relation movies. Alright. Coming in at number 10, I'm going to go with the Oscar winning film 12 Years a Slave. Now, this is one of the few films that I probably only see this movie about only twice, and that's kind of it. It's a really good film, but it's not really a film you can really, watch over and over. I mean, it's a really, really hard film to watch. It's directed by the always great Steve McQueen, who also gave us, of course, he gave us our debut of Michael Fassbender's Private and Shame. He also, recently did Widows. He's a pretty solid filmmaker, and of course, 12 Years a Slave won the Oscar for Best Picture. And of course, you had Chiwetel Ejiofor, who ended up getting an Oscar nomination for his performance as Azrael Solomon Northam, and he's of course this a free black man from upstate New York who ends up being kidnapped and sold to slavery in the South. And of course, you got Michael Fassbender, who plays the Malevolent owner. And Mike Fassbender's character in this is probably one of his better performances. And you got some pretty good cast members in this. Besides Ejiofor and Fassbender, you also got Paul Dano, Brad Pitt is in this. You even got, I believe Sarah Paulson is in this, if I'm not mistaken. Not to mention, you even have, Lupita Nyong'o in her film debut. Of course, she won her Oscar for her performance, and Lupita Nyong'o was amazing in this movie. I mean, this really is a film that that really introduced us to the world, to Lupita Nyong'o, and since then, of course, she appeared in, Jordan Peele's Us. She's done so many other stuff, like she was in The Lion King, Star Wars. She is just awesome, and I thought she was great in 12 Years a Slave. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a pretty decent one. I mean, there has been, a few other decent slavery-based movies around, like, I probably could have gone with the Harriet Tubman film, Harriet, which was pretty decent, but I decided to go with 12 Years a Slave, because 12 Years a Slave is probably my favorite one. And Django Unchained is also pretty good. They're pretty good, just they're not easy to watch. Alright. Coming in at number 9, another film that's that you could probably only just watch just once and that's it. Number 9, I'm going to go with Detroit. Now, this is, of course, about the 1967 Detroit riots, and Detroit, directed by Catherine Bigelow, who of course gave us films like Zero Dark Thirty, The Hurt Locker. Of course, she was married to James Cameron before. Detroit it's also a film that's not an easy watch. I mean, you have Will Poulter, who, of course, Will Poulter, by the way. This is the kid who came from, the Third Chronicles of Narnia. He was like the nerdy kid in We're the Millers. He was, of course, just in Miss Summer. This is probably the best performance I've seen out of Will Poulter. I was still shocked about the lack of Oscar nominations this movie got. I mean, the lack of this movie didn't get any Oscar nominations, which, I'm sorry, this film not getting any Oscar nominations was a crime. It's that good a film. Of course, there are lots of race riots that was featured. I mean, Will Poulter's character, I guess you could say he was a bit like a white supremacist in this. Of course, you also had, speaking of Miss Summer, you also had Jack Reynor was in this. You also had John Boyega. Jason Mitchell was terrific. Girl from Booksmart, Caitlin Dever, I think her name is. She was terrific. You even had Anthony Mackie was great in this. I mean, Detroit, like, there was lots of crazy violence that even happened in this film. Saying that this movie is literally based on a true story, but it really is. Not to mention, you even had John Krasinski was in that. That was pretty cool right there. But yeah, if you guys never really seen Detroit, I've probably only seen this movie maybe just once or maybe twice. It's not an easy watch. There are so many good movies that are like so good that you just can't even bear to watch again because how intense they are. Like Schindler's List is up there, and Detroit and 12 Years Slave are two movies that you could just probably watch only once or twice, and maybe can't even bear to watch them again because how intense and they are. And Detroit is definitely one of them. All right, another film that you probably only could just watch once, and that's it. That is Fruitvale Station, directed by Ryan Coogler, who also went on to give us Black Panther, starring Mike B. Jordan in his breakout role. Now, Fruitvale Station, of course, it's about this young man, this young 22-year-old man named Oscar Grant, who ended up spending time in St. Gwen, and now he's trying to, live a clean life and support his girlfriend, played by Melanie Diaz, and their young daughter, played wonderfully by this young actress named Ariana Neal. And there's also a combination by police. Who, by the way, the police who actually the police officer this is actually played by Chad Michael Murray, which was a bit of an odd role for Chad Michael Murray because when you think of Chad Michael Murray, you think of the kid from One Tree Hill or Freaky Friday or anything. It was a bit odd seeing Chad Michael Murray play a bit of a douchebag like cop like him. But of course, if you guys don't know, there was like a confirmation with Oscar Grant and the police officer, and they thought that Oscar Grant was going for for a weapon and all that, and so Chad Mike Murray's character ended up mistaking his taser for a gun, and yeah, he ended up killing Oscar Grant, and it's a bit of a hard watch. Fruitvale Station is probably one of the best performances I've seen out of Mike B. Jordan. I mean, how on earth did Mike B. Jordan not get an Oscar nomination for this? Is seriously beyond me. I mean, I just thought Mike B. Jordan was remarkable in this film. Of course, you had Octavia Spencer as his mother. She was terrific. This is a really, really hard watch. And when I mean a hard watch, it's pretty hard to watch. But it's still really a terrific one. One of my favorite movies of the year it came out in. Hold on. Sorry for that. Anyway, yeah. I'm still in shock that Mike B. Jordan did not get no Oscar love for this, because Mike B. Jordan was that great. I mean, of course, he did have roles before Fruitvale Station, like, of course, he was on Friday Night Lights. I think he was also on The Wire. He was in Chronicle, like, a year before this movie. But it was really Fruitvale Station that actually really put Mike B. Jordan on the map for most people, and since then, of course, he had roles in Creed, of course, was in Black Panther. I mean, Mike B. Jordan has been doing some pretty solid work, and frankly, he has not even done a bad movie since Fantastic Four. That's how great this guy is. I mean, I think he saw how badly Fantastic Four was, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be careful with the projects I pick. But that aside, if you guys never really seen Fruitvale Station, go give that one a watch. Alright, coming in at number 7, it is Selma. Now, of course, there are, historical protesters now, but this, of course, was a film at the most historical one, which was, of course, the march on Selma, and of course, you've got David Oyelowo as the role of Martin Luther King Jr., and David Oyelowo, how on earth did he not get an Oscar nomination for this is beyond me. Either he was he really embodied the role of Martin Luther King. I mean, we've had other films about Martin Luther King, but this is probably one of the better films about him. Of course, it was directed by the always great Ava DuVernay, who, okay, I can't say everything she does turns to go. I mean, I'm not going to time much. But Ava DuVernay is just awesome. And I thought she did a great job with this. You know, you even had Oprah Winfrey was also in this. You also had Tessa Thompson was great. Tim Roth, Tom Wilkinson, Lakeith Stanfield. You had some really great powerhouse players in this. And yeah, I mean, this was, of course, one of the most. This was about one of the most iconic, protesting of historic history. And yeah, if you guys have not seen Selma, it's actually available to watch to own free on I think Amazon or something like that. Go check out Selma if you guys have not seen it. All right, number 6, I'm gonna go with The Hate You Give. Now, of course, this movie is very relevant today. You know, especially of what happened to George Floyd, what happened to Eric Garner and all that. Hate You Give is terrific. I mean, of course, it is based on a book, which I never read the book, so I'm not much of a bookworm. I think I made that literally clear. But yeah, the Hate You Give is anyway. Yeah, the Hate You Give is terrific. I mean, it stars Amanda Steinberg, who I'm telling you right now, this girl needs to be a bigger star. Between this, of course, she was in Darkest Minds, but that wasn't her fault. Of course, with this, everything. Everything. She was, of course, in the Hunger Games. She's also in that show, The Eddies, which I've been wanting to check out, but still have not really had a chance to check out The Eddies. But anywho, The Hate You Give it's also pretty intense. I mean, this is another film about which is about police brutality. This is a Black Lives Matter movement based movie, and it's a really terrific one. In it, you got Amanda Steinberg, who plays this teenager who ends up witnessing her best friend getting killed by police, and so she has to stand up for what's right, and it's a really terrific one. I mean, you had Regina Hall was terrific in this. You had what's the dude from that Lincoln show? Russell Hornsby, I think his name is. Yeah, he was terrific. Of course, he played Steinberg's dad. Sabrina Carpenter was terrific in this. It is from the same director of that Notorious movie. He did a great job at directing. This is a really decent, terrific film. I mean, this is definitely a film worth checking out today, especially if, everything in the light of everything, that's going on in today's society, And this is definitely worth a watch. If you guys never really seen The Hate You Give by now, go check it out. It's a terrific one. I mean, a bit surprised that they haven't really released this to watch for free, but anyway. Alright. Coming in at number 5, I'm going to go with Get Out. Get Out, I mean, this is a race. This is definitely a film about race. I mean, it's a terrific one. Directed by the always great Jordan Peele. I mean, whoever would guess that the comedic guy from Key and Peele, the guy who's best known for comedy, will go on to direct a horror film like Get Out. And Get Out it's a terrific one. In it, of course, if you guys don't know, it stars Dan Kaluuya, who plays this young man named Chris, and him and his girlfriend Rose, played by Allison Williams, ends up, going on a trip so he can meet Allison's parents. And then, of course, the parents are played by Bradley Whitford and Catherine Keener. But it turns out that that hell breaks loose, and they are not what they really appear to be. And Bradley Whitford's character and a few of the other characters in this, bit like I wouldn't say they're like fully racist, but they could be pretty toxic and all that. And I mean they're okay. I'm trying. All right, this might be a bit of a spoiler for Get Out, but the film got released in 2017, so obviously if you guys have not seen Get Out yet, you probably have no intention of seeing it. Anyway, if you guys don't know, the white characters in this are trying to pretty much put their bodies inside so they could really technically become black people, and it's a really messed up. That's really a messed up twist. Like that was a twist I really did not see coming shot this. Of course, there is that tea moment scene. I'm not trying that. I mean, but anyway, of course, Lil Rel Howery was terrific. I love Lil Rel Howery in this. Get Out is just, it's a really decent race. It is a race relation based horror film. I mean, if you really look at it, it's like like a horror version of that Sidney Poitier film, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. If you guys never really seen Get Out by now, do yourself a favor, go check it out. Get Out is it's a really great one. All right. Number 4, I'm gonna go with The Help. Now, The Help, of course, scored loads of Oscar nominations. Of course, Octavia Spencer ended up winning her award for this film. The Help is terrific. I mean, you got Emma Stone who plays the role of this college girl who's of course writing a paper, and she ends up building a unlikely friendship around these maids. And this has some really racially profile here. Like, especially Bryce Dallas Harris' character, she's a racist character. I'm not gonna. She's really racist. I mean, I still always cracked up about when Octavia Spencer fed her, a special type of pie. Yeah, if you guys seen The Help, you know what type of pie she made Bryce Dallas Harris' character. Of course, you also had Jessica Chastain was great. Viola Davis was probably one of my favorite performances of Viola Davis. This is actually the movie that really put Octavia Spencer on the map. Like, she's been around for a while. Like, seriously, I mean, I literally saw her in Halloween 2 one time, and I even saw her, pop up in Bad Santa. She was even in Big Mama's House. Octavia Spencer has been in roles for years, and something how it was The Help that really put Octavia Spencer on the map. I mean, she was remarkable in The Help. If you guys never really seen The Help by now, this is a movie that really will make you love movies. I mean, it's a really remarkable one. And I can't believe it. And it's actually on Netflix, and believe it or not, the movie got some really good ratings when it got released. Lots of people love the film. For some reason now, people are not really fond of it anymore. I really don't get much of the hate now, but anyway. Alright. Coming in at number 3, I'm going to go with Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. Now, to be honest, I probably could have added lots of Spike Lee movies on this list. I mean, Spike Lee is just... he's the man. Spike Lee he makes some... I mean, Black Klansman was great, and Do the Right Thing. I mean, this was actually the movie that really put Spike Lee on the map. I believe this was his breakout film, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember if it was this or what She's Gotta Have. I know one of these films put him on the map. But of course, this takes place in Brooklyn, New York City, and you got of course you got the always legendary and late great Danny Aiello, as Sal, who's this talent owner of a pizzeria in Brooklyn, New York. And in the neighborhood local, you got Bugging Out, played by Giancarlo Esposito, years before The Mandalorian kicked in, who ends up becoming upset when he sees that the pizzeria Wall of Fame exhibit only talent actors, and he wants to and he believes that a pizzeria in the black community should also showcase black folks as well. So this becomes a very racially charge movement, and it has a great cast. Like besides Danny Aiello and Esposito, you also had the likes of Ozzie Davis, Ruby Dee was in this. You had Bill Nunn. You also had Robin Harris. Some really terrific cast members. I mean, probably one of obviously Spike Lee's best work. This showcases the summer of New York City pretty well. I mean, there's so many directors that showcase New York really well. I mean, Spike Lee, Martin Scorsese, they really know how shoot movies about New York City. And if you guys, for every reason, never seen Do the Right Thing, go check that one out. Okay, number 2, it is Crash. Crash, if you really want to look at it, is, I would say Crash is definitely, like, with everything going on with, so, anyway, of course, with everything going on with cops and black folks, this is definitely a film that's really worth checking out. I mean, Matt Dillon's character who plays a cop in this, he is, I said Bryce Dallas Howard was one of the most racist film characters to be put on screen. I take that back. Matt Dillon's character who plays a cop in this, he is one of the most racist, despicable characters you'll see. I mean, Matt Dillon, of course, he scored an Oscar nomination for this. And I'm not gonna lie, I think he probably could have actually won his award for this because Matt Dillon was actually that good. And I mean, the scenes, of course, there's like a like a racial profile scene with Matt Dillon's character when he ends up stopping. Of course, when he ends up stopping Tandy Noon and Terrence Howard's characters, he ends up pretty much frisking Tandy Noon's character, and the and of course it is about like other race relationships. Like this scene where Sandra Bullock's character ended up becoming a little racist because she ended up getting she ends up getting a gun pointer based on one scene, and of course you got Ludacris and Lawrence Tate was great in this. I mean, Crash. I mean, I know what the cool thing is. You hate on Crash and all that. I don't care what anyone says. Crash is pretty awesome. It's a bit of a hard film to watch. I mean, this is a very racial. Like, there's lots of racial profiles that happens in this movie. But something about Crash. I mean, it did win the Oscar for Best Picture, and I know the cool thing is to say that. The cool thing is to say that Crash should win Best Picture, and it was not even a good movie and all that. I gotta say how I see it. Crash was actually a pretty good film. I mean, I even think it deserved a Best Picture. I mean, that's how good of a film it was. I know there will be people who disagree with me, and that's cool. But I, for one, love Crash, and I'm frankly happy it won Best Picture. Sorry, but that's how I see it. Anyway, and I mean, look at the cast. You also got of course, you also had Brandon. You also had Brandon Fraser. Okay. One name. Lots of wins. Anyway, of course, you had Brandon Fraser was in this. You had loads of other folks. I mean, Loretta Devine, Micah Pena. If you guys never really seen Crash, go check Crash out. But if you guys check it online, careful what Crash you're looking for. Just a little warning there. Anyway. Alright, my number 1 favorite race relation movie is seriously... It's another Spike Lee movie, and that is Malcolm X. Now, of course, I just had a movie about in my list about Martin Luther King, but another really iconic one has got to be a film about black activist and leader of black liberation, Malcolm X. Of course, you had Angela Bassett as the role of Malcolm X's wife, Betty Sabaz. Of course, it's also talked about. This film ended up talking about, the assassination of Malcolm X, which was a very hard watch too. I really love Malcolm X. It, frankly, it's not really my favorite Spike Lee movie. I did my top 10 favorite Spike Lee movies like 2 years ago, and obviously Malcolm X was not number one. But you know what? Anyway, I'll just talk about it. Anyway, when you talk about great race relation movies and great film like historical films about historic black folks, Malcolm X is definitely one worth checking out. Denzel Washington, I'm still surprised. I always thought that Denzel won an Oscar for this, but it was like, I think he should. I mean, Denzel did such a great job with this movie. I mean, crazy to believe that I turned 28 years old this year. Mark your heads around that. It's, I'll just talk louder. It's such a terrific one. I mean, I believe it did score a couple of Oscar nominations. I think Denzel did score a Best Actor nomination, but didn't win. That aside, it's a terrific one. I mean, it ends up, it ends up dealing with everything that Malcolm X dealt with back in the days. I mean, this does have lots of race tensions in this. It's a really terrific one. Alright, sorry about that. Anyway, if you guys never really seen Spike Lee's Malcolm X movie yet, go check it out. I mean, I probably could have added loads of Spike Lee movies in this list. I probably could have added a Black Klansman. Lots of people probably add that in their list. I probably could have added loads of other ones, but Malcolm X and Do the Right Thing are probably two of the best ones I could really think of. Anyway, all right, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. 10, 12 Years a Slave, 9, Detroit, 8, Fruitvale Station, 7, Selma, 6, The Hate You Give, 5, Get Out, 4, The Help, 3, Do the Right Thing, 2, Crash, and number 1 is Malcolm X. Now, there's loads of other ones I probably could have added. Nate Parker's Nat Turner film, Birth of a Nation, is pretty good. Granted, I'm talking about Birth of the Nation, not The Birth of the Nation. That's a totally very different one. I mean, The Birth of the Nation, which got released like in the 1920s, it's a very controversial movie. Like, oh boy, I'm not going to even talk about that film. Of course, there is American History X. It's a pretty good one. 482, which had Shaq Boseman, was a good one. Let's see. I probably could have added the Harriet Tubman film, Harriet, with Cynthia Erivo. That's a good one. Bird is a pretty good one with Forrest Whitaker. Let's see. Django Unchained. Driving Miss Daisy is pretty decent. Let's see. For Color Girls is a good one. There's a film called Gangsta's Paradise, which I'm guessing was not based on the Coolio song. Of course, Ghosts of Mississippi is a good one. Glory, Gospel Hill, Gran Torino, The Great Debaters, also with Denzel. Denzel's been in a lot of racial based films. If Beale Street Could Talk is a good one. Inglourious Bastards, The Jackie Robinson Story. Let's see. LB. No, not LBJ. Milk, I probably could have added. Mississippi Burning. Munsters Boys is a pretty good one. Raising the Sun, both the City Party one and the one with Diddy. There's some pretty decent ones. I mean, if you guys want some pretty good race relation movies to check out, because of what's going on in the world today, there's some. Oh, not to mention Queen of Slim is another one I probably could have gone with. Anyway, let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite race relation movies of all time? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This is Team Movie signing off.